Holy crap, guys. We have a huge Hotfix 19 patch here. It's actually crazy. So we're going to go through this. Downtime starting in the next 15 minutes. It'll be probably around the time that this video goes up is when the downtime will start. They added a new race here. We have a new lizardman race, which has been added and can be unlocked for either 4 blue stone shards or 4 redstone shards. The race is available in 3 different colors, red, blue, or green. Lizardmen have a slightly flatter and elongated head, requiring the normal head hitbox to angle forward to match the model due to their unusual head orientation. Lizardmen cannot wear any head armor and instead receive an innate 15 armor rating from their leathery scales. This is our first foray in attempting to balance a race with different hitbox. The values of the race stats may be updated for balance sake. Our hope is that if this goes according to plan, that we can start experimenting with more daring fantasy races like dwarves. Interesting. Jumping into the loot and equipment updates, the drop rate for uncommon and rare items in normal dungeons has been improved, especially for sub-bosses and higher end chests. I think this is really good. They were definitely lacking. Opening up a coffin when there's like 2 of them on the map and getting gray items feels really bad. The amount of treasure that can drop from chests in all dungeons has been improved. Improved the drops for the royal coffins. Okay. Slightly improved the drops for the stone tombs. Clarity potions no longer drop as loot in dungeons. Okay, that's really interesting. I don't know how you get them then. Are they just completely removed from the game at that point? Or is this something different? Weapon damage scaling as weapons improve in rarity has been improved. Crossbow, throwable weapons, and magical weapons are exempt from this change. So weapon damage scaling as weapons improve in rarity has been improved. Okay, so weapons are just going to feel better when they get more rare. Weapon damage has been increased for daggers, swords, bows, and polearms. Warmaul damage and armor penetration has been reduced. Okay, so Warmaul's not going to hit quite as hard anymore. The battle axe, Viking sword, and Chris dagger attack animations have been updated. Buckler impact resistance upgraded from 4 to 6. Yes, the buckler can now block a non-crush Warmaul if you want to risk it. Okay, interesting. So buckler's a little bit better. Loot now gives knowledge as a primary stat starting from poor quality. Flute now gives agility as a primary stat starting from poor quality. Lyre now gives resourcefulness as a primary stat starting from poor quality. Northern full tunic armor rating reduced, so barbs are just going to be less tanky. Padded tunic armor rating reduced and movement speed penalty slightly increased. Okay, so you'll just be slower with that. This is kind of a nerf to the Slayer fighter. Regal Gambeson armor rating slightly reduced and move speed penalty slightly increased. The helmets for the barbarians armor has been slightly reduced. Looks like all of them. Armet gives strength instead of resourcefulness. Wanderer's outfit gives agility instead of knowledge. Okay. Doublet gives agility instead of knowledge. And movement speed penalty slightly increased. Occultist hood gives magical healing instead of magical resist. Interesting. Okay. That actually makes that viable for Warlock, having magical healing on that instead. Wizard hat gives magical power instead of magic resist. Okay, that's actually really good too. Wizard shoe gives magical power instead of magic resist. Okay, there's actually a reason to use these items now instead of just a leather cap. Dread hood now gives 15% buff duration bonus. Okay, so just tons of changes to the loot and equipment. Random modifier improvements. Minimum action speed 0.1 to 0.5%. Minimum armor rating 1 to 2. Minimum move speed add 1 to 2. So you no longer, these stats should be a little bit less useless when they get rolled effectively. Minimum spellcasting speed was at 0.1% and now it's 0.5%. This is still basically nothing. I still think this is garbage. But hey, maybe they'll change it again. Buff duration, 1 to 3% and 2 to 5% has gone to 3 to 5 and 5 to 10. Okay, that's actually big. That's a significant change. That's like a 100% increase. Regular interaction speed is now up to 10 to 15% on some items and 7% on others. Okay, look, these stats are no longer completely dead. You could actually make a build and have like 100% increased regular action speed and go mining or whatever, right? I think that's super cool. So that's some great changes there. Fix an issue where debuff duration bonus option was being applied in reverse. Yep, this has always been a problem. If you had debuff duration bonus, it always made you take more damage and the debuffs last longer on you instead of shorter. So Definitely not ideal, but glad we got that fixed. Class attributes, perks, and skills. Spell count recharge when resting significantly improved. Recharge interval reduced from 3 seconds to 2 seconds, and the amount of spell cost gained upped from 8 to 17. Okay, so sitting is now the same as drinking a clarity pot, basically. Fighter adrenaline spike perk activation point changed from remaining health below 15% to below 40%. That's probably a good change before you kind of just died the second it activated anyways. Duration was changed to 12 seconds. Adrenaline ref debuff duration has been changed from 4 to 2 seconds. Fighter's Taunt now also grants 10% magical damage reduction bonus in addition to the original physical damage reduction bonus. Barbarian Carnage now grants 75 armor rating for 7 seconds instead of 10 strength after a target is killed. Interesting, so you just become way more tanky, but your health is no longer increased. Barbarian's Axe specialization now increases weapon damage by 3% or by +3 instead of 10% physical damage. Barbarian's Blood Exchange duration increased from 6 to 8 seconds, and Lifesteal amount increased from 5 to 15 seconds. Barbarian's Life Siphon has been renamed to War Sacrifice. Now costs 10% of maximum health as a life sacrifice over 8 seconds, and increases all other attributes by 4 to 5. What? That's really interesting. It increases everything by 4 to 5? That's a lot. Rogue's Hand Crossbow Mastery perk also increases crossbow weapon damage by +2. Rogue's Double Jump perk no longer confers a landing penalty, but instead grants a -20% move speed penalty when the perk is equipped. Ah, that's actually interesting. So rogues, you no longer get slow when you double jump, but you're just -20 move speed the whole time. So you basically just kind of have the debuff permanently now, which should be interesting to see how that balances out. Rogue weak point attack skill debuff duration has been reduced from 4 to 3 seconds, and armor rating reduction on the target has been increased from 30% to 40%. Cutthroat cooldown changed from 28 seconds to 14. That's really calming considering this lasts for like 6 seconds. You're going to be basically permanently CC'd if they're just throwing knives at you, and I don't know about that. This seems really not fun to play into, but hey, that's just me. Ranger's Ranged Weapon Mastery perk, physical damage bonus increased from 5 to 10%. Ranger's Crippling Shot perk now has an additional movement speed penalty applied to the target increase to 25% instead of 15% when shooting the target's legs. So we got a bigger slow, hooray, exactly what we wanted. Cleric's secondary default weapon changed from Wizard Staff to Spellbook. Look at that. Clerics now start with a Spellbook. Cleric's lesser healing spell count changed from 4 to 3. So you only get 3 heals instead of 4, and casting time was increased from 1 second to 1.25 seconds. Holy Strike now has a 0.5 second delay before dealing damage, so it's going to be easier to dodge. Cleric's Holy Light spell count amount has gone from 4 to 3. Casting time has also been increased, and the base heal was decreased. Okay, so clerics are just getting nerfed. We're getting gutted, boys. It's over. We only get 3 charges of each, but we can also sit and get them back way faster now. So I actually think this is like net even pretty much. Earthquake spell count amount decreased from 2 to 1. Locust Swarm 2 to 1. Wizard's Haste no longer grants movement speed bonus, but instead increases spell casting speed bonus by 12%. This is useless. This is completely useless now. Why would you ever run Haste? You're too slow, right? The big problem with Wizard right now, and just in general, is you're actually just too slow to ever do anything. Like, you're permanently stuck in this weird... you need to kite in order to live, but you're too slow to actually outrun anybody, and now you can't get a movement speed buff here. Invisibility now leaves an after image every 1.5 seconds. I've been murdered. Oh well. Bard's base attributes updated. Strength 14 to 13, and will 7 to 8. So they lost a point in strength and they gained a point in will. Bard's Encore skill now plays the next song at the maximum song playing speed. Bard's Shriek of Weakness AoE range was changed from 450 to 600, all the way down to just 300. So the AoE for all these things are much smaller now. You basically have to be standing on top of someone if you want to silence them or Shriek of Weakness them. This opens up a lot more counterplay to actually dealing damage to the person when they go for a shriek, whereas before you couldn't really. The luck value given by the Bard's Wanderer luck has been changed from 100 to 50. The cost of all spells used by the Warlock have been reduced. Warlock's Torture Mastery now doubles the cost of all spells. Interesting. So if you play without magical healing, you're able to use more spells effectively. But if you have magical healing, everything is going to cost basically what it costs right now. Is what it looks like. They also updated the amount of players and portals for each locale. Goblin Cave set for 7 players now has 4 escape portals and 1 fixed escape, so no longer everybody is escaping. Ruin set for 16 players now has 12 escapes. Howling Crypt set for 18 players now has 10 escapes and 3 fixed escapes. It also has 4 down portals and 3 fixed down locations. Inferno set for 15 players and now has 7 escape portals. Proximity VoIP has been disabled and all player names are hidden during the base camp phase of the game. This is exactly what I said actually. In one of my comments, I was like, if you don't want people to team up prior to the game starting, right, while they're waiting in the lobby, you just need to disable VoIP in the waiting room, right? And it looks like they're going to hide the names too. This is going to make teaming way less than when people aren't chatting for 3 to 5 minutes waiting for the match to start and just forming teams in that time. Shrine of Protection physical damage reduction buff reduced from 15% to 5%. Okay, that's... I feel like this is pretty dumb, personally, but I don't know. The Shrine is basically useless now. And magical damage reduction buff reduced from 20% to 5%. Shrine of Power's physical power buff reduced from 30 to 15. And Fountain of Speed movement speed buff was changed from 50 to 10. Okay, so shrines are just... basically they don't do anything anymore, effectively. They're like, nice if you have it, but they no longer will actually sway to fight, I would say, from this. And then finally, the developers have left some comments here. Hello, adventurers. With Hotfix number 18, we're able to establish a good baseline for the balance of the game. We had to strip back some of the diversity of the gameplay to get to this point. But this necessary step has helped us gain better understanding of the complexities of our systems. Using this knowledge, Hotfix number 19 is our initial step at rebuilding gear diversity and playstyles, including major updates to the classes and reworking several perks and skills. This is only the first pass in our goal to add more variety to building your characters, and we'll continue to adjust items and add more content each update. Other issues we've tried to address in Hotfix 19 are the unsatisfying loot and the buff ball meta. We have now improved the quality and amount of loot in the dungeons. Although epic items will still be extremely rare in the normal dungeons, you can expect to see a lot more uncommon and rare items, especially from high-end chests again. We are also not done experimenting and have made some drastic changes, such as the temporary removal of clarity potions as loot drops in our hopes to address the buff ball meta. This will continue to monitor... we will continue to monitor this situation and adjust as needed. Establishing this baseline has also enabled us to confidently focus on designing larger content features, which we will start rolling out with early access patch number 2 in a couple of weeks. We appreciate your patience on this roller coaster ride and thank you for your support. Awesome. I honestly like pretty much all of these changes. This is fantastic. So super excited to get into the game, try out lizardman and all the new stuff here. Thanks for watching, guys. Sorry it was a bit of a long video. Lots of changes here. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.